Guild Wars 2 has plenty of capes nowadays, however most cool skins, in my opinion, can only be bought in the gem store. There are some that you can acquire without spending gems, but they look pretty basic. But there is one cape that beats all capes. It's the Dragonscale Cape. The Dragonscale Cape can be acquired by completing the Cloaked in Scales achievements in the Icebrood saga. In order to complete this achievement, you need to have all the episodes of the Icebrood saga unlocked. Some of the things you need for this cape can be quite hard to obtain, so let me walk you through them. I'll also show you the difficulty of getting these items. The difficulty is based on the time you have to spend and the total gold cost. Want to support the channel? Don't forget to subscribe, share this video with your guildies and watch it all the way to the end. It helps more than you think. The Dragon Eye Infusion Box can be earned by completing 24 achievements in the Champions chapter of the Icebrood saga. Although completing 24 achievements does sound like a bit of a hassle, some achievements are rather easy to complete. Take for example the Dragon Response Mission achievements. Completing every Dragon Response mission once automatically completes an achievement tied to the Champion's Mastery. Also, many Dragon Response missions have a Mastery Insight in them. Communing with this Mastery Insight will also complete a corresponding achievement. Whilst doing these Dragon Response missions, make sure to recruit a different faction each time you do them. This contributes to the Tide Turner achievements. In order to complete these achievements, you'll have to do a single Dragon Response mission a few times, each time with a different faction. Once you have done enough Dragon Response missions, you can turn in your Tyrian Defense Seals at different vendors in Eye of the North. These Tyrian Defense Seals are earned by completing Dragon Response missions. Make sure to buy 10 supply boxes from the different faction vendors in Eye of the North in order to complete an achievement as well. Along with the story achievements, this should get you near the 24 achievements you need. The second item you need is the Vial of Unfreezing Leather Oil. This is definitely one of the more expensive items in the collection. First, you need to get 1,000 hatched chilies. The best way to get those is to just gather them from resource nodes in Grothmar Valley. Another good way to get hatched chilies is by completing the Shiver Peaks boss strike mission. You will only get a few chilies by completing this strike mission on a daily basis. However, if you do strikes on a daily basis, it helps you get those 1,000 chilies much faster. But all in all, gathering them is just the quickest way. The second ingredient you'll need for the Unfreezing Leather Oil are 20 tonics of Icebrood Corruption. In order to get 20 of these tonics, you'll need 1,000 shards of crystallized blood of Jormag. You can easily find them on the map whilst doing the Northern Meta event in Drizzlewood Coast. However, getting 1,000 of these could take you quite some time. If you want to get those quickly, you can get them rather cheap on the trading post. Getting 1,000 shards will only cost you around 6 to 8 gold. Next to that, you also need 400 globs of ectoplasm. These are very pricey, between 20 to 30 silver, and it is best to get them from salvaging rare materials. Getting them could take you some time. I won't buy them all on the trading post unless you want to spend your entire Guild Wars 2 life savings in one go. The last things you'll need for the leather oil are 500 lumps of glass. Also not very hard to get. First, you'll need either 400 huntsmen or jeweler to craft these lumps. Second, you'll need 1500 piles of coarse sand, which you can also buy from the trading post. But honestly, just do a few hours of Reba in the silver wastes, that'll be cheaper and more enjoyable. Make sure to open the piles of silky sand you get in the silver wastes to get the coarse sand. Next to that, get some thermocatalytic regions and craft them at the crafting station. Once you have all the ingredients, go to the Mystic Forge and create the tonics of Icebrood Corruption. You can create them as a single tonic, but you can also create them by 10. Once you have your 20 tonics and 1,000 chilies, head on over to Eye of the North. Look for Karin Fallen Skull and exchange these items for a Vial of Unfreezing Leather Oil. The third item you'll need is a lot easier to acquire. The Eitrite chain links require you to get 1,000 Eitrite ingots and 15,000 war supplies. Although this does sound like a lot, it's actually rather easy to acquire. Eitrite ingots can be crafted, but I would honestly get them from strike missions. I still do strike missions on a regular basis and it gives you about 5 to 10 ingots after opening the chests at the end. Let's say you do about 5 strike missions a day, then you can easily get between 25 and 50 ingots. This is not the fastest way to get these ingots, but it's definitely the cheapest way. The war supplies can be acquired by participating in the Drizzlewood Coast meta event. Next to the meta event, don't forget to mine, char salvage and open supply caches that can be found on the map. It'll take some time, but Drizzlewood Coast is actually a good mob to farm gold on. So you'll be earning those war supplies by participating, along with materials you can sell on the trading post. Once you have the items you need, head on over to Annette in Jorah's Keep and buy the Eitrite chain links from her. The second to last item you'll need is the Prismaticite Clasp. To acquire this item you'll need 10 Prismatium ingots and 250 piles of loosened crystal. The Prismatium ingots need to be crafted and require between 5 and 10 Prismaticite crystals. This depends on the way you want to craft them. You can spend less crystals, but then you'll need more mithril and or calcium. And the same goes the other way around. Almost every crafting discipline can acquire these ingots, but you'll need level 400 crafting in order to actually craft them. The crystals themselves can be acquired by completing Dragon Response missions. Just loot the chests after you have beaten the final boss of a Dragon Response mission. The other item, the piles of loosened crystals, are crafted from loosened modes. You'll probably already have a lot of those loosened modes. You'll get them from salvaging fine, masterwork or rare sigils or gear. Head on over to almost any crafting station and turn them into piles of loosened crystal. There are no crafting requirements to craft these. Once you have these items, head on over to Drizzlewood Coast and exchange it at any vendor in the area. The last item you'll need is the Draconic Aether cleanser. To get the cleanser, you'll need 5 amalgamated Draconic lodestones and 5 Stormcaller cores. Almost any crafting discipline can craft amalgamated Draconic lodestones, but make sure to have at least 400 crafting for that crafting discipline. Don't have that, you can also use the Mystic Forge for this method. To craft the lodestones, you'll need a number of other tier 5 lodestones. Take for example the Destroyer and the Crystal lodestones. You'll probably have some in your material storage, but if you don't, you can always buy them from the trading post. Crystal lodestones are relatively cheap compared to Destroyer lodestones. Make sure to have 10 of each lodestones and put them in the Mystic Forge or craft them in order to get the amalgamated Draconic lodestones. It's pretty straightforward, but getting the tier 5 lodestones can be quite pricey, or you need to have them on hand. The Stormcaller cores are obtained in a similar method. You can craft them as an artificer, weaponsmith or huntsman. You don't need a specific crafting level to do this. Next to the Gossamer and the Orcalcium, you'll need charged lodestones and charged quartz crystals. As said before, you can get the lodestones from the trading post or you need to have them on hand. Charged quartz crystals can be a bit of an obstacle. You cannot get those from the trading post. In order to get those charged crystals, you need to take 25 regular quartz crystals to a place of power and charge them there. And you can only do this charge once a day. So for the Stormcaller cores, you'll have to repeat this process for 5 days. Once you have your 5 amalgamated Draconic lodestones and 5 Stormcaller cores, head on over to Smoxy in Eye of the North. Here you can buy your Draconic Aether cleanser. Whilst doing this, I also had some general notes written down that could help you along the way. The first one is to always store your materials in your material storage and bank. For example, you need 1000 hatched chilies, but your material storage can only store 500 of them. Make sure to add your remaining chilies in your bank. Don't let them clutter your character's backpack. This way it makes it easier to find out how many you still need and where to find them when you're done. The second tip is to do Drizzlewood Coast. Many of the items you'll need can be found there. Also, it gives you some good gold, which you can use to buy some missing materials. The third and the last tip is to take your time. Although it may be tempting to buy all the materials right away, it will cost you more in the long run. Of course, you can buy the cheaper materials or that one remaining thing you'll need, but don't spend all your gold to rush this achievement. If you decide to buy everything at once, there is a table on the official wiki that shows the total material cost of this achievement. If you still have any questions, don't forget to leave them in the comments. You want to support the channel? Don't forget to subscribe and share this video with your guildies. For now, I'd like to thank you all for watching and I hope to see you all in the next one. Peace!